Welcome to Abuja today on AGTV, a program where we analyze and discuss issues concerning the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. Today we have the FCT youth leader, Comrade Ibrahim Umar Makeri, in the studio. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we want to look at first 2023 general election have come and gone, most especially in FCT. Does the aftermath, or rather, does the outcome of this election comes as a surprise to you?
As you rightly say, I'm Comrade Ibrahim Umar Makeri, FCT youth leader under the pledge of FCT Youth Network. Basically, based on the 2023 general elections, we have been politically deprived to participate on some elections. And the one that we are allowed to participate as a FCT Indigenous is that of the House of Rep, Senate, and the presidential election. So, and from the angle of the indigenous people of FCT, we are not really happy, because this is what we are always saying, that FCT, other states have 3 senatorial districts. And today we have only 1 in the Federal Capital Territory. And that 1 have been taken by no-indigenous. Even though the person is a resident in the Federal Capital Territory, and based on the Constitution, he or he is allowed to contest
Yes.
in the Federal Capital Territory. But we are saying, before the existence of the Federal Capital Territory, around 1976, there were people in the Federal Capital Territory.
Residents.
Yeah, there were indigenous people of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja here. Now, we are assuming that we're having 3, as other states are having it.
Yes.
An additional, also like 6 or 5 the House of Representatives, Federal House of Representative members. Today, I would believe that if this one take A, Mr. B will take C. But totally, in the National Assembly, the incoming Senate and the House of Representatives, the 10th National Assembly, we don't have a voice. What I mean is that we don't have the voice. That now we have only House of Representatives that was elected as an indigenous person in the Abuja South. Now Abuja, no, we don't have it. The whole of the senator, we lost it completely. So, and everybody feel demoralized.
Do you now feel as if the indigenous people are going to be looking at spectators as their spheres of governance in the upcoming administration kick off?
Yeah, we'll be looking, actually.
Okay.
We'll be looking and observing. But what we are saying is that the government of the day should look at us and say, no, this place I'm using, there were people before now. And again, if you look at the generality, everything that we needed is in the National Assembly. Talk about the creation of local government. Talk about create more area councils, constituencies, and even the Senate. Everything lies in the National Assembly. Now, if you observe that, even around during the military regime of General Ibrahim Babangida, there was this issue of FCT Mayo elections that's come up. They later cancelled it. But we are also agitating that we should be given that chance to participate in the mayoral election. We are going to have Mayo and mayoral council.
And I think a bill was sponsored by the current representative, Senator Philip Tenimo Aduda, last year, which unfortunately the bill did not scale through at the Senate.
He passed a bill concerning the mayoral status in the Federal Capital Territory. But it will interest you to know that even our neighboring state, where the FCT was carved from, some of them voted against that bill. So it's really bothering us. Today, we believe that FCT were carved from 4 states. And if states like Nasarawa, Niger, Kogi, and Kaduna, the senator didn't support a single senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Philip Aduda, was not supported by any other senator from the north here. Could you imagine? Senator from the south and southwest were even supporting for us to have a mayor in the Federal Capital Territory, but the northern senator rejected and voted against that. So we honestly we I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We are not feeling happy at all.
Looking at the broader picture, the issue of political marginalization, the recent election that was just conducted the last weekend, the gubernatorial elections and the House of Assembly election. In that particular day, as a leader of FCT Youth Network, how did you feel that particular day? That all the states were voting for their governors, their House of Assembly members, and then you were sitting at home.
Honestly, it's a very, very big challenge to the people of FCT and to Nigerians at large. In Federal Capital Territory, FCT, hourly or daily, let me use the word daily, people tune into Federal Capital Territory. And it interests you to know you are a Nigerian. You live in a particular society. And the benefit of you being a Nigeria or living in that particular society, as long as the country is practicing democracy, you are also expecting to exercise your civil rights. Now, other states, where are they other states? Where are they participating in governorship and state assembly? And FCT in exception. And that is why we are clamoring that we should be given, anyhow you call it, we don't care. Call it a mayor, call it a governor, we don't care. But we want to participate. We are born, for God's sake, we are born and brought up in the Federal Capital Territory. We don't have any second home. Take for instance, the person that wants a senatorial seat in the Federal Capital Territory, she may be from other states. And other states have three senators. Today they have 4. You can imagine. Either we like it or not, she have cousin brothers, she have sisters, she have father where she came from, and she's going to assist them one way or the other. That means she's blocking the chance of the Federal Capital Territory, the native of FCT. So we are not happy. We are not happy, and we are saying no to this because as a youth, we have not coming up with the ideas that in the next elections, the National Assembly should consider us and put us into the electoral process so that we can be voting our mayor or as anybody, anyhow they call it, as I said, anyhow they call it. But they're also participating in the governorship elections so that we cannot be sitting there and be watching at home as if we are from other part of the country. We are here. We are from Nigeria. We are Nigerians. So I don't know where the government want us to go. And like this issue of ministers. We have been to court. We've won so many cases. We have been to protest. Now we are agitating that the youth are no longer going to be used as instrument of protest.
Yes, I was actually coming to that. The issue of ministerial slot. There has been recently. There are discussions ongoing. There are agitations. The FCT Senate elect Ajia Ireti Kingibe alleged that during Goodluck Jonathan, he had actually proposed, or rather he agreed to appoint FCT Indigenous person as a minister. But she alleged that the names that were presented to former President Goodluck Jonathan, all those names were illiterates. I think she granted this interview on Voice TV. So are we saying that FCT Indigenous people do not have someone who is qualified to be a minister? Or why did the stakeholders presented names of illiterates to be appointed as minister?
It's laughable. Where I say it's laughable is that a place like Federal Capital Territory cannot be undermined to that extent. I believe maybe it's a slip of tongue because Ireti Senate elect who claimed she has been in the Federal Capital Territory in 1988. She should know that. Number one, let me tell you, I watched that news, that interview. I watched it on the Voice TV, and even it's viral on Facebook and Twitter. That is, it's already in the social media. Let me say something. The whole of Federal Capital Territory Uh, I think she's made let me use the word mistake, because I believe she's going to make the corrections in times to come, because she cannot conclude that FCT, the name submitted to President Goodluck Jonathan, then we are illiterate. I don't know. It's an insult. It's embarrassing. And honestly, she's telling Nigeria or the world that we are not mentally balanced, emotionally okay, and psychologically we are not sound. But we are telling her that she's not speaking on behalf of the people of FCT, and what she's saying, we debunk that interview, that that is not the aims and the objective of the of Federal Capital Territory. For instance, we have been clamoring that we need a voice in the Federal Executive Council. I'm telling you, every qualification you need in FCT. Are you saying Ambassador Mbako, Senator Philip Tenim Aduda, Ambassador Habib of Nkuje, and Architect Aliu Baka? These are people, there are more. We have many of them that are mentioned. Now, today, if you look at the educational background of indigenous people of FCT, we have those that are even qualified to be SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, in the Federal Capital Territory. And I believe we have retired civil servants that are retired at the rank of level 17, which of course is director. Are you saying a full-time civil servant who retires as a director cannot handle a ministry? So are you not telling Nigerians that indigenous people of FCT doesn't have people that are qualified to be appointed as a minister? No. We can't accept that. We can't believe that, and we totally disagree. Look, I watch one of her clip again, where she say Senator Philip Tenim Aduda spent 20 years in the National Assembly, and of course he did nothing.
Well, I was actually coming to that.
I'm trying to comprise
the issue. Well, I think it's an issue that has to be dealt with. The issue of somebody spent a certain number of years in the National Assembly. I don't think it's a constitutional issue, or possibly is a moral issue, or rather perception from people. I think there are people who have spent more than 20 years at the National Assembly. The current Senate president, who has just been re-elected,
Senator
Ahmed Lawan, and also Femi Gbajabiamila from Lagos, who has just been elected again. The issue, I don't think, is the number of years, but it's actually what the leader has to offer. And I think in her interview, in that same interview, she talked about the issue of tribes. She talked about major, the indigenous tribes of FCT. They are about 9. And she also mentioned that the perception of people in FCT is that the indigenous people of FCT are only Gbagis.
Please,
how do you address that?
Please, can you remind me something? If let me ask. Please remind me if I forget one of the questions. Let me go like this. Today, I'm here as FCT youth leader under the plight of FCT Youth Network. You can imagine FCT Youth Leader. Let me tell you something. This comprises of 9 indigenous tribes. The Amwa, the Brakoto, the Gagi, the Gbari, the Bahasa, the Koro, the Gwandera, the Gedes, I think one escaped my memory. Gana. Good. Gana. These are 9 good indigenous tribes in the Federal Capital Territory. The youth come together and form a network. I say, let's have a youth representative. I want that election, and we want that election with Gana, with Gbagi, with Gbari, and I won. Today we are working as a team. I'm telling you, my brother, we have no any other languages than this 9 tribe in the Federal Capital Territory. But for her to say that the Gbagi are feeling as if they are the origin or the owner of the FCT, well, number one, let me tell you, part of Nasarawa Court, which Gede are there, Gondaras Oto are there. Part of Kogi State Accord, which Igberapoto are there, Gana are there. Part of Niger State is called, which the Gbagi are also there, and the Koros. Part of Kaduna, the Koro also are there. So please, we are advising at our own level that Senate-elect she will not go to that extent because she's trying to bring a kind of maybe a division between the nine united indigenous tribe of the Federal Capital Territory. And again, Senator Sidi Ali was once a senator. He's an indigenous of FCT. Senators.
a baggy person?
No.
Sidi
Ghana.
Okay.
Ghana man. Senator, distinguished senators Jibril Wowo from Kuje Area Council was once a senator and a Gede man.
Okay.
No, a Gede man. Today, if Senator Philip Aduda happened to be a Gbagi man, that is presently on the seat of the Senate, you should expect so many things that is going to come up. But for her to say the Gbagi are feeling as if they are the origins of the Federal Capital Territory, no. We have traditional rulers from Abaji. The chairman, FCT Traditional Council, His Royal Majesty, he is indeed the chairman of the traditional ruler of the Federal Capital Territory. And he's not a Abaji person. We have third-class chiefs like Koroma in Gogolada. We have second-class chief in Koro in Bari Area Council, and we have Etu Bari. We have Etu Jiwa, and so many of them that are Griki, Karula, and so many of them. So please, we are let her come out with her blueprint.
Okay, talking about unity now, talking about uniting the indigenous people of FCT. At your capacity as a FCT Youth Network leader, what advice do you have to give the Senate network elect?
Well, let me go to this extent that I am advising the Senate elect, if by eventually she took an oath to the office of the Senate of the people of FCT, the indigenous and the residents in the Federal Capital Territory, let her show us her blueprint. She came out to contest for elections and she won.
And the period of campaign is over.
So the period of campaign is over, as you say. So we don't want any castigation. Castigating this leader is not capable, this leader spent a year. Let me tell you something. Honorable Zakari Anguludobi was once a councillor, a sole administrator, a 3 or 4 times chairman, and a member of National Assembly. He indeed qualified to contest for the seat of the Senate of the Federal Capital Territory. And Aduda too, distinguished Senator Aduda, has spent years in the National Assembly, and he still have the right, because the Constitution demands that he can contest as long as he wish. So he still have the same right. Now that a presidential candidate, His Excellency, let me use that word, a former governor of Anambra State contested for president in a Labour Party, and she got that opportunity. Today, through that opportunity, she won the elections in the FCT. So we are not disputing that. We are law-abiding citizens. And that is why after these elections or during this election, you can never see any riot, any fight anywhere across the 62 political ward. And we are speaking as a youth from the 858 communities of the Federal Capital Territory. You can never see any youth, any native that said, no, let's go for protest, let's go. No, what we are agitating or what we want Hajia Ireti Hibakin Kibe to do the Senate, let to do for us is let her involve the residents and the indigenous people of FCT, the youth particularly, in participating in her governance. Because we are no longer going to be used as an instrument of destructions. We are no longer going to be used as a protester to go and block Airport Road, to Kuba Road, Maraba Road, or whatever. We cannot do that. We want to be engaged in participation. We want to be involved in participation. So the issue of trying to to cause a disunity within the 9 indigenous tribes, we will not allow that. And please let her get this in, and let her aid knows that we love everybody. And that is why even before she's not even the first resident senator. Let me use that word. Hajia Karat was also a senator in the Federal Capital Territory. So and she did, and she left. So she can also do her own part and leave. That's leadership. Today, Senator Philip Aduda, who has constructed many roads, primary health cares, schools. In fact, even he's responsible more than 30 something bills in the National Assembly. He speak for FCT native across the 36 states. Anywhere during the campaign he went, he will speak representing the Federal Capital Territory. So you cannot say we don't also have a representative. She cannot say that because we know that we have not grown to the extent. All it takes to federal government to appoint an individual in this country, we have the qualification in the Federal Capital Territory.
Okay, we have report that there are anger, or rather anger among the youth and other stakeholders within the FCT because of our utterances. Recently, the interview she granted. What do you advise the residents of FCT in that regard? Since you're preaching unity, you're preaching peace and all that, what is your advice to the youth concerning the situation?
Well, those few let me say last week, the president and the commander for Abuja Original Inhabitant Youth Empowerment Organization he is indeed the SA Youth to the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. He led a coalition of youth team to visit distinguished Senator Philip Tenimo Adula.
Okay.
And the aims of that visit was not to pay a consular visit, but to visit him as a hero, somebody who has been on the throne of Senate. And election came and go, and the winner was emerged, and he couldn't say anything. And so he decided to say to him, you'd come together, let's go and solicit that visit with our senator.
Yes.
And the aims of doing that was to bring unity. You know, during that day, I remember the Bari Youth Forum were there, the Gondara were there,
Basa.
the Bia Basa, that is Basa, the Kuro, and even the Youth Network, including the original Inhabitant Youth Empowerment Organization led by him, Commander Isaac. We came together, about 9 indigenous groups. We are there to to pay support to the distinguished senator. So we are still agitating that we didn't fight before the elections, and we didn't fight during the election, and we will not cause any harm after the election. So all we are saying, if by eventually the constitution, the day of oath, to taking out as a senator came, and she took an oath as a senator, let her show us the blueprint that she has for the people of FCT, so that we can join hands together and make sure that FCT is a safe place to all of us.
Okay, it's been nice having you, Comrade Ibrahim Umar Makeri. Your last word to the FCT people.
My last word to the FCT people, the Indigenous and the residents. Let me first and foremost commend President Muhammad Buhari on this, and indeed the Honorable Minister, Federal Capital Territory, Malam Musa Bello, and indeed the Minister of the Federal Minister of State for FCT, Dr. Ramato Tijani, and indeed Area Council Chairman, led by the Algon Chairman, Kwali Area Councils, and all traditional rulers in the FCT, our former chairmen, the councillors, and all political office holders, the civil servant that are here, the indigenous and the residents. Let me commend them for make sure that there was a peace during the elections, and there's still a peace after the elections. And I will mostly commend the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, because indeed he has given the youth a very free playground for to participate in our civil right. Today, people like us come out to speak to our communities because the ministers in the Federal Capital Territory allowed us to come together, to put our heads together, to make sure that there is a unity among in the Federal Capital Territory. But lastly, lest I forget, if you look at other part of the country, like Niger Delta, it's obvious. It's even everywhere. They were fighting for their right, killing this one, causing confusion. Today, the government of the day have given the Niger Delta Ministry of Niger Delta. So we are saying, we are even pleading, crying we've been to court, which is the only hope for the common man, that we should be also to be treated as such, because our land has been taken, and that is the only way. You can imagine where we are standing today. Tomorrow they will say, resettlement and compensation.
Yes.
You know, that word crack.
I was yesterday. I saw some persons coming back, some indigenous people coming back from the farm, and they look so sad. And we stopped them by, we greeted and all that. And they told us that they actually went to plant yam, and somebody came and told them that the land belongs to him. And they were actually driven away by police.
You can imagine.
They were warned never to step their foot on that land again.
You can imagine.
And they don't have a job. They're not working with the government. There is no business. That is the only means of their livelihood, which is farming. And the land has been taken. The place they live is also being threatened, that the place has been allocated to someone.
That is even without compensation.
People. So
not even issue of compensation.
They were actually sad that they don't have a home, and also they don't have way to farm and all that. And this is sad. This is sad. I think it's something the federal government would also have to look into to address this issue once and for all.
Well, regard to this, that is why we are also pleading the incoming president by May 29. His Excellency, former Governor Ahmed Bola Aswajo Tinubu will be taking an oath as the president of this country, and he's going to stay in the villa here, Federal Capital Territory here, Abuja. So we are also telling him, pleading with him, that he should look at the eyes, he should look at the sympathies he's going to have for the people of FCT, especially the Indigenous, because he have done that in Lagos when he was the governor in the Lagos state. He made sure that the youth were engaged. So we are also pleading, now that he's coming to the higher level, to the presidency of this country, he's going to stay in Abuja here. Let's also think about what do we do. Let's consider the plight of the Indigenous. All we are asking for is very simple. One, the voice of in the Federal Executive Council, which is a minister. Secondly, that one doesn't even need a constitutional interpretation, and we should also be given a chance to participate in mayoral elections, second tier of government, and that is why we in the process of governance, we have the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. So at this junction, I'll thank. Let me use the opportunity to also thank the FCT for inviting me to this program, and I want to also use this opportunity to wish our brother barrister, who was there 3 days ago, Barrister Panya. He was indeed a struggle. He really fought for the FCT Indigenous supplied to be a minister. He won so many cases regard to this matter. May his soul continue to rest in peace. And I want to assure the Indigenous that we are going to start to continue from the struggle where he stopped. We are praying to Almighty God to give him internal rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been an interesting time with you, Comrade Ibrahim Umar Makeri, the FCT Youth Leader under the umbrella of FCT Youth Network. We look forward to seeing you from term to term. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Follow us on our YouTube channels and Facebook channels at Bagisha TV.